What's up, guys? Game Fiend Fever of All Games here, and it's time for another drama script this Saturday. But this time, I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna start off with TNA Impact, which was aired yesterday, and my thoughts on it that it was actually watchable. Like TNA has goes off and on, like you can't watch it, it's horrible. Then they do something random that you just don't want to watch it, and then they have great shows where it's watchable, and then they have once in a blue moon they have pay-per-view shows. But TNA is known for giving away pay-per-view matches on their televised show, which they did on Thursday. The first match after Dixie Carter brung out the whole TNA roster to introduce Hulk Hogan as being quote unquote the man again. The first match of the card was Kurt Angle versus Jeff Hardy, and it was actually a good match. Like Jeff Hardy actually wrestled, like he did an armbar hold into another armbar hold. Then he did a hip toss into the armbar throw again. They did a hip toss to hip toss to another armbar. I'm not saying Jeff Hardy's bad, but I'm just not used to watching Jeff Hardy like ground wrestle, and to ground wrestle somebody as good as Kurt Angle is just like wow. It was actually a pay-per-view match. But there was an unscripted part in that match when Kurt Angle when Jeff Hardy threw Kurt Angle outside the ring, and Jeff Hardy drop kicked him through the ropes. Kurt Angle's head smacked the bottom side of the guardrail, and he busted his head open. I don't think that was supposed to happen, but it happened anyway. But Kurt Angle finished the match, and the match ended Viva countout because Kurt Angle ended up outside the ring, and he just walked up. He just walked up to the ramp, and the match ended. And then backstage, Hulk Hogan still put Kurt Angle in the match at Lockdown, and it's still cage. So it'll still be Kurt Angle versus Jeff Hardy in the steel cage at Lockdown, which hopefully that match will be just as good as the match that they gave away for free on Impact. But TNA is known for doing that. Other things I want to note from and last night's Impact was not last night, excuse me, Thursday's Impact was the funny segment on Eric Young's bachelor party. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, he looked like he was about to have some fun. He had the candy, he had the lollipops, he had the laptops, he had the non-alcoholic wine, grape wine, which would be the same as grape juice. Now that I'm thinking about it, but yeah, they was about to play some fantasy football. No, excuse me, not fantasy football. Fantasy baseball. They was about to go in, and then ODB messed it up by kicking all the dudes out and brought chicken and cigars, and then they just stayed by themselves. But it looks like Eric Young and his best friends was about to go in. It looked like they was about to have a good time. Other notes from this packed and from this week's Impact was the Bully Ray promo against Austin Aries, and I don't see the point in this. It because Bully Ray is obviously bigger than him, but Austin Aries is 20 times better than Bubba Ray in the ring. Even in Bubba Ray's prime with WWE, Austin Aries could run circles around Bubba Ray Dudley in the ring wise. But it's funny how I don't know how TNA is gonna do this, the drama scripted wise, as Austin Aries being the small guy, obviously Bubba Ray being a bully, picking on a little guy. But I don't for Bubba Ray Dudley, I don't see the point. For Austin Aries, you could kind of see the point because Bubba Ray Dudley has been in the main stage of wrestling longer than Austin Aries. So I could see how this could help Austin Aries out. This is obviously not helping Austin. This is obviously not helping Bubba Ray Dudley out. Even if the X Division title gets put on the line for only TNA reasons, knows why they would actually do that. But I want to see where this goes. It may lead to a steel cage match at Lockdown, since both Austin Aries or Bubba Ray Dudley have nothing planned for Lockdown. But we're gonna have to wait and see as it goes. The main event, which was Bobby Roode and Mr. Anderson, the asshole. It was a great match. I really enjoyed it. If you didn't see it, you should go check it out. Excuse me for 1 second. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, you should go check it out. Uh, Once again, Bobby Roode wins by the ref was knocked out, and Bobby Roode takes a beer bottle and bashes it over Mr. Anderson's head, and he's knocked out for the 1, 2, 3. And then Cowboy James Storm comes down to the ring, and obviously Bobby Roode doesn't want no part of it. He goes back up the ramp, and Hulk Hogan reverses the decision, saying that Mr. Anderson won. It's an empty victory because the match is already set at Lockdown. Bobby Roode versus James Storm. But let me get into the reasons why there's it's so much riding on that match to be good, because this is the first decent feud that TNA has built in a long time. I mean, this Bobby Roode versus James Storm, this feud has been going on ever since the year started. Yeah, for the past 4 months. TNA has so much riding. This match has to be so well because there's so much riding on it, because it's been their main feud. These two has been like the past main events for the past 4 months on either any pay-per-view or of course on any Impact taping. So for them to finally have this match at Lockdown and be the main event and it be for the World Heavyweight title, that this match can't suck. Like, TNA has if this match would suck, it would be a total letdown for Impact and TNA. But I'm looking very forward to it. I like the build up. It has a 4-month build, and it's kept me interested. One of the only reasons why, besides Eric Young and Austin Aries, one of the only reasons why I come back to watch TNA weekly now. And once again, there was a small segment on Abyss looking for himself. But in other news, the triple threat match, Velvet Sky ended up winning. It was a Fatal 4-Way. Winter, Tara, Velvet Sky, and Mickie James for the #1 contendership for the Knockouts title. And Velvet Sky won. She hit Mickie James with the In Your Face to win, and now she gets a rematch that she never got for her Knockouts title. And that's pretty much it on the TNA department. Now I'm gonna head on to Raw, which was phenomenal. Not for the matches, but the crowd. If you didn't see Raw, you missed the best crowd this year and the best Raw this year, and the crowd made Raw. The crowd was chanting randomly Daniel Bryan, and they were randomly screaming out yes, 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 yes. And they did it on SmackDown when Daniel Bryan had his little promo, but I'll get into SmackDown after I briefly go over Raw. That officially on pre-order that there is a Daniel Bryan yes, yes, yes shirt, and I'll leave a link in the description. And I'm gonna own that shirt. Like, boyhood dreams do come true, and I've been wanting this shirt for a minute ever since the yes started going over, and it's over so big now that fans started cheering it. But what happened on Raw at the beginning of Raw is The Rock came out basically saying that he's gonna try to be like Chris Jericho. Meaning, when I say like be like Chris Jericho, is that he's gonna try to do everything and still wrestle. Because he even announced that he's gonna try to get another WWE title on. How do I feel about this? I feel happy and kind of upset at the same time. I mean, yes, it's good for business that for The Rock to make a run for the WWE title, but for the young people that they only had 2 or 3 years in the business. Like, example, Alberto Del Rio, but they have Alberto Del Rio going for the World Heavyweight title, but which is now he's going for the World Heavyweight title, so that kind of throws the statement out there, and their brands don't matter anymore if that's the case, because Alberto Del Rio is a Raw superstar, but yet he's the #1 contender for a SmackDown championship. And how come Daniel Bryan's rematch Daniel Bryan, you get to choose when you use your rematch card, so Daniel Bryan didn't use it yet. And if you guys watched last night's SmackDown, he didn't. But moving on in other notes on Raw. The matches there really wasn't that matches. I enjoyed that Mark Henry versus CM Punk match. I very enjoyed that. And then after that match, they continued the feud between Chris Jericho and CM Punk, with Chris Jericho saying that I'm going to be the first one to make you drink, and then he bashes his head over with a Jack Daniels, I think it was a 32 ounce. It was a 32 ounce or a 42 ounce bottle. Yeah, ounce Jack Daniels bottle over the back of CM Punk's head. Surprisingly, CM Punk didn't, his skull didn't crack, because the bottle was full. Well, 75% full, and it was glass, unless it was a staged acted what they do in movies is that the majority of the glass is made out of thick sugar, so it looks like it's glass when it's really not. So unless WWE prompted that and that was that special sugar glass and it was able to hold Jack Daniels, and that's the only reason I could understand how CM Punk's head's not busted open. Because if you guys did see TNA, when Rude hit Anderson was bleeding. But who knows? But it looked like a legitimate Jack Daniels bottle. But it's WWE. Vince is a billionaire. They could do anything. Hey, if Alberto Del Rio could afford to rent out a new car every time he comes out, they could probably stage spots a sugarcane Jack Daniels bottle. Who knows? But moving on, I enjoyed that segment. And the final segment I enjoyed at the end was before that, The Miz had a match, and it was against Zack Ryder, and The Miz wins. But moving on, he's The Miz and he is awesome. Oh, and by the way, with Team Johnny winning at WrestleMania, which I called, as you could look at this video in the description, I called that match that it was going to end in a skull crushing finale, and that match did end in a skull crushing finale, which makes The Miz 3-0 at WrestleMania, which he is undefeated at WrestleMania, which he joins The Undertaker, who is now 20-0, and Michael Cole, who is 1-0. But a lot of people are going to say that that's not going to count. But hey, a match is a match, and Michael Cole had one match at WrestleMania, and he's 1-0. So there are 3 people that are undefeated at WrestleMania so far. But yeah, moving on to the final segment of Raw, which was John Cena to come out to say that he apologized for losing and he feels that he let everybody down. Meanwhile, during all of this, the fans are screaming, Daniel Bryan, yes, 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 yes. And they started screaming yes, yes, yes so much that even John Cena just randomly started screaming out yes, 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 yes. And then he also said, Daniel Bryan, that you owe me. Also, they're screaming out, we want Lesnar. So the fans at this point do not care what John Cena has to say. The promo was borderline boring to me. The only reason I didn't fall asleep was that the crowd was so energetic throughout the whole 2 hours of Raw that it kept me awake through the whole thing. And then it got to the point where it was getting to the end, and then Brock Lesnar came out and the stadium erupted. Like, it shook a little. Like, the camera shook a little when they heard Brock Lesnar's theme came out. And then Brock Lesnar came out, and then he just hits the refresh button, which if you don't know what that joke is, you should strip yourself from using the computer daily. And he hits him with the refresh button, aka the F5, and the fans go crazy. And then he leaves, and then that's how Raw ends. That's how Raw ended. And then we go on to SmackDown. I'm just gonna go through SmackDown very briefly because not much happened. David Otunga came out to introduce Johnny Laurinaitis as the GM of both shows. I have a funny story about what's probably going to happen. I don't think Theodore Long is going. I have a funny story, but after I get through the segment. Introduces him as both shows. And by the way, David Otunga on the low is a new masterpiece. He's coming out in a jacket now, flexing his muscles. Who used to do that? The masterpiece, but it used to be a coat or something overlaying his muscles. So David Otunga on the low is the new masterpiece. So he comes out and they debuted Johnny's new theme song and plus his new Titantron, because he never had one. He never had a theme song and he never had a Titantron. He could just use the Raw opening thing as his theme song. Comes out, he gets introduced as the new GM, and then Theodore Long says, yeah, you do have a job, you could work for me if you really want to keep your job. Theodore Long says, keep your job, keep the union job for me and shove it, and then Theodore Long leaves. I enjoyed the Daniel Bryan promo with AJ, with Daniel Bryan breaking up with AJ, so now it's Daniel Bryan alone. And once again, and all the yes signs, the yes term is 100% over, and there's a t-shirt for it, as I mentioned earlier, it is on pre-order. There was a noticeable amount of yes signs. The fans were chanting Daniel Bryan, the fans were screaming yes, This is the era of yes. Well, at least on SmackDown that is. But yeah, this is the era of yes. That word was probably trending on Twitter at that point in time. But who knows? Because I don't pay attention to Twitter when I watch SmackDown. The matches that I enjoyed was there's only really one match that I enjoyed. Really was the main event, which Alberto Del Rio is the #1 contender for the world heavyweight title, but he's a Raw superstar. But anyway, moving on. Let me get the side note. Okay, Team Johnny won WrestleMania, which makes John Laurinaitis the general manager for both shows. But if you think about it, I don't ever WWE ever recalling that he is the full time general manager for Raw. When Triple H did come back, he kept his job as the interim general manager of Raw, and he was still only announced as the interim general manager of Raw. So what could possibly wind up happening is BS happens, Triple H comes back, says that you are no longer the interim general manager of Raw, and they bring Teddy back as the general manager of Raw, and they basically switch shows. That could possibly happen. It's not a long shot. It can happen. And then, because I haven't read anything or heard news of Dia Long being released of the company, so he's still there. So that could actually possibly happen. It could happen anywhere between now and if they even have a draft. I think a draft is pointless at this. A draft is 100% pointless at this point if John Laurinaitis is going to be the GM of both shows. Because as you can see, Alberto Del Rio is the #1 contender for a title that he's not even on because he's a Raw superstar. But anyway, I guess that's going to wrap it up for Drama Scripted Saturdays. If you enjoyed this video, you could go watch back my other Drama Scripted Saturdays to keep you updated. If you've been under a shell and like the past month, be remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Remember, you're always going to get a Drama Scripted Saturday every Saturday. Oh, and before I forget, this Tuesday SmackDown is live. So SmackDown is going to come air on Tuesday when I don't need it to air on Tuesdays because I'm going to be off for spring break. So once again, that Drama Scripted Saturday will be on time and probably out before 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But anyway, remember to please comment, rate, and subscribe. I enjoyed interacting with you guys on the last people that commented on the last Drama Scripted Saturday. Shout outs to you guys. But anyway, this is Game Fiend, Fiend of All Games. I'm signing out. Oh, and another side note, in this match, this is Road to Prescott matches 32, 33, and 34. But anyway, that's it for this. Game Fiend, Fiend of All Games, guys. Signing out, and I'm later. Out of here, guys. Peace.